of the accumulated debt,
but not
and they haven't been able to dig themselves out.
Are you only talking about Japan, or are you talking about China, South Korea, other places, or just Japan?
I'm talking about, let's say, Thailand, Korea, Indonesia, which is basically now a basket case. It's a country in very serious difficulties, and the
no
result,
leadership.
And the result is that the medicine that they had to swallow, the medicine meted out by the IMF, it was really very bitter, and
too stringent in your judgment, because it limited any chance they had of recovery.
Well, the medicine was designed to enable these countries to meet their international obligations. In other words, to be able to meet, to repay their debt, which they are doing, and a lot of money has come out. But the pain that they have suffered is very severe, and there is a reaction. There is a great resentment, which actually I feel personally, because I'm seen as the embodiment of
capitalism,
of currency speculation and so on. So there's,
Is that primarily because of what happened with the Bank of England in 1992?
Yes,
that they view you as the arch villain because you were the guy they said who broke the Bank of England?
Right, and
did.
Well, that's true.
How much do you think he made? $1 billion.
Well, I didn't do it, of course, on my own, and I couldn't have done it on my own.
You mean you had other speculators following your instinct?
No, they weren't following. I was following them. In other words, the market is an impersonal force, but I'm a face that can be identified. So I'm the face of the market, but I can't go against the market. If I wanted to, let's say, break the Bank of England, I would be broken. I would be wiped out because it wouldn't succeed. It's only if I can guess right which way the market is inclined to go, and I'm ahead of the curve. Then I can make money. If I happen to be wrong, the herd tramples on me, and I'm out.
Clearly, that's why you were so successful, because of your ability to be ahead of the herd. In a personal way, do you feel today you're as good as you were?
No.
That you don't?
No, absolutely not. I'm like an overaged prima donna. I'm in retirement.
Yeah. Because what? You lost what?
Well,
courage?
No.
Instinct?
No.
The ability to. You know what you said? You know what you said? I no longer wanted to endure the pain of the tension.
Well, if you want to be, let's say, running a hedge fund, you have to be committed to it 100%. It's got to occupy your waking and your sleeping hours. Now, I have other interests. I'm very happy to have other interests. And if I have those other interests, I can't give the attention that it would take to actually run and make all the decisions.
At the level of hedge fund management that you were with, you can't, most of these people have other interests, don't they?
Not really.
This is a 24-hour day
it really
preoccupation.
It really is.
You got to get up at 3 or 4 o'clock in the morning to find out what's going on in Japan and in Asia.
And it's a very strange business, because if you're doing well, you can take your eye off the ball, and you can actually have other interests and enjoy life. But if things go bad, you can't ignore it, and you've got to give it your full attention to try to find out what is going wrong and correct it. So you have a kind of an inverse relationship between effort and result.
Okay. Then should I have, if I was watching from the side, and I watched you get involved in philanthropy, which you have some reservations about now, in Eastern Europe and in Russia and in other places, speaking to the idea of an open society, which an idea I think that you learned back at London School of Economics. If I had watched you and I should have said, you know, he doesn't have his eye on the ball anymore. He's over there trying to create freedom in the former communist world, and so I'm going to take all of my money out of his fund if I had any in it, because old George is distracted.
Well, the only difference is that I knew...
Or young George is distracted, whichever.
No, I knew that I was interested in other things, and therefore I found other people to run my fund.
Okay, I realize that, and Stanley Druckenmiller did a great job, but here's the point. Aren't you a smarter, wiser person if you are more wiser about the world, and if you're involved in the world, and if you are doing things, and you have your pulse more on what's going on other than just the market? And doesn't that contribute to your capacity to be smart about the market?
Well,
or is the market too tough?
No, up to a point, yes. If you have somebody else who worries for you,
yes,
then you can give him very good advice, and you can be very wise, and I actually, you can be a coach and so on.
And if it goes well, you can take the credit. If it goes badly, you can blame him.
Well, if you do that, you lose him. So that's the one thing I have never done.
Yes, that's fair. Yeah. But let me turn to philanthropy for a second, because and we'll come back to global markets and the transition you went from here to here and where you are today, although I think you've outlined that pretty clearly. Philanthropy. You've given away a lot of money. Have you been successful at philanthropy? Has it been wise? Do you think it makes a difference?
Yes, I think that I can honestly say that the foundations have made a difference. How much difference is hard. It's not really for me to say, but they really made a major impact at a critical time.
In what way?
Well,
take any one specific or in a broad general way.
I can take specific, but actually it's innumerable little things that add up to a big thing. Because open society is a society where people decide for themselves. You don't decide for them. They shape their society. Now, to help people do that, when you have a regime that is telling you exactly, let's say a party state that is trying to control all aspects of your existence, and then you get some support in doing your own thing, and this is what the foundation did. Anything that was not a state party initiative, the foundation supported. And so that support added up to opening up that society. So by offering people an alternative, so they could do what they wanted to do, it undermined and broke open the system. Then later on, as the communist system collapsed, you then had to make the transition from a closed to an open society. And that is a very difficult transition to make.
Because they don't have the experience of doing that, nor the institutions.
Exactly right, exactly that. And so they do need a helping hand. In order to sort of, an open society is a more sophisticated, a more difficult form of organization. It's so sophisticated that you don't actually see it.
Yes.
A party state that you can really see, and they announce, what the dogma is and so on. Open society it's just what people do. It's freedom. Yeah. So to make the step up, you do need a helping hand, and that is what the foundations provided.
And what reservations do you have about your philanthropy there and its success or lack of success?
Well, you see, I've always been very skeptical about philanthropy, because it goes against human nature. Because human nature is basically, our survival demands that we should other people's interests. It sort of goes against the grain.